Just to talk to a quick question to Poonam Muttreja. Thank you very, very much. It's an honor to have you with us. And you've always stressed very strongly on the empowerment of women, on their education, on their rights. Actually, economists, from my hat as an economist, have said, invest in women, you get the biggest returns to your economy compared to men. You got that?
Yeah, I can add to it also.
But actually there's one bit of good news as a cephalogist hat. Women's turnout in elections used to be 25% less than men. Now it's higher than men. More women are coming out to vote than men are. So they are fighting for themselves as well. But how do you see this going forward? In other areas, women in India are still neglected, right?
Yes. Yes, so I couldn't agree with you more. If you invest in women, not only will their families prosper, but society and the country prospers, and there's data to show that. There are, women, there is huge progress we have made as far as women's education, primary education goes. Longevity and maternal mortality has decreased. Women used to have 6 children in 1950, and today they have 2.2 children. But the way I want to respond to your question is that you're right. Women's aspirations have changed. Women want fewer children. They need access to reproductive and family planning services. And the entire burden of not just producing children, but also, which is a privilege, by the way, that women have, but for family planning is put on women. 75% of sterilizations is what women experience, and men 0.3%, and people like you, when you have this big asset associated with you, one of the most heard people in India, Mr. Bachchan, we really need to get men take greater responsibility, and you have the convening role of potential of persuading millions of men to take greater responsibility, because not only will population stabilize, but women desire to have fewer children will be met, and women, it leads to higher economic growth, but it also leads to having fertility decline will and population stabilization will also lead to decreasing maternal mortality. It will increase incomes. Children will get greater attention. There will be fewer women having to have endless babies waiting for a boy. Third area where we really need to invest in women is nutrition. A country where 54% of the women are undernourished cannot prosper, not only from a health point of view, but any other point of view, including economics. Fourth area, while there is parity for education increasing at the primary health, but women are still struggling to be in higher education. Women are still struggling even for secondary education. As far as access to health goes, women not only get the last and the least to eat, but even the last and the least health. It's only when women are critically ill, they are taken to hospitals and facilities. 40% of women continue to deliver babies in the house, especially in the most backward and poorest parts of India, where we know every pregnancy is can be a high risk to a woman's death. And for every woman who dies, 20% women live dying. The morbidity rates are really, really high. As far as the pandemic goes, it has impacted women and exacerbated the situation of women. And I want to highlight 3 or 4 women and girls. And the first one is the violence that has increased. And in a society where 42% men and 52% women believe it's legitimate to practice violence on their partners or women, it is something that is a wake-up call where we need to do something. And in the pandemic, women were with their perpetrators at home, locked in with their perpetrators, where violence went up. Girls had to step out of school, but many of them got married. Child marriage increased, and many girls are not going to go back to school. So given all this, there is a lot we have to do, but must invest in women's health, education, and giving them dignity. Finally, unless women's empowerment takes place and we have greater gender equality, our society cannot prosper.
Right.
And for India's economic growth, we must invest more money.
Right.
Thank you so much, ma'am.